Have you ever thought about turning the landscapes you visited into miniature models? Here is my trip to Tibetan Plateau. This project was inspired by a jungle I passed while filming a documentary last year. Our way to a snowberg was surrounded by huge fir trees, and the stream flowing alongside was as clear as crystal. So, I decided to build this iconic place into a diorama. For the composition, I followed the classic golden ratio, allowing the road to diagonally cross the base. To create mountainous terrain, I layered another piece of XPS foam board on one side and used the Proxon hot wire cutter to refine the edges. What's more, I cut off a piece of foam board on the stream side to enhance the elevation even more. The road was made of caulk sheets. In my experience, the cracking effect of this material is the most realistic. After measuring the size, I glued the cork sheet to the base using PVA glue. Next, I cut square wood sticks into small blocks of 9mm in length and 3mm in width to use them as the bricks for the road curb. This work needs patience. Well, I listen to audiobooks while working. What a cozy afternoon. Finally, I use instant glue to neatly assemble the curved pieces along the roadside. The old national road in West China is paved with cement, but I used AK diorama material to enhance the textures. While the terrain of the forest was made of a mixture of papier mâche, plaster of Paris, and PVA glue. The mixture touches really soft and smooth. The feeling is hard to describe in words. After that, I sprinkled some gravel in various grades on top. I wrapped the sides with wood sheets. Then fill the gaps with Tamiya terrain paints. The surroundings were painted black. You could also use wood wax, depending on your personal preference. When everything is set, I sprinkled some finely ground natural soil on the terrain. Use alcohol and fixer to fix the soil. This time I tried a new method for making fir trees. The trunk is made of bamboo sticks, which I saved from eating lamb kebabs. It's around 5 mm in diameter and 35 cm long. Initially, I attempted to create texture with a wire brush, but I found that the bamboo skewers were way more tougher than AB putty, so it didn't work well. I used a harder etching sword to create the bark texture. Next, I drill a 1 mm hole every 10 mm along the bamboo skewer, trying to keep the angles random. From my first experimental fir tree, I discovered that spacing them around 15 mm apart was sufficient. I prepared a bundle of thin wire, 0.45 mm in diameter and 40 cm long, bent in half and ready for use. I bought some plumber's hemp for leaves. I cut it into small clumps and using fine tools to comb to grooming the plumber's hemp. I also tried a more time-consuming method, where I cut the jute twine into small segments about 30 mm in length, and twisted one straight into 4 and into small clumps, which turned out to be more uniform, though it was more cumbersome. In conclusion, for areas near the trunk, using plumber's hemp, while for more visible tips of the branches, using the rope. Working this way keeps both realism and efficiency. Starting from the top, I inserted the folding iron wire into the holes, clamping one end with a table clamp. I spread the jute between the iron wires and hooked it on the opposite side, using a power drill to twist the wire so that the jute was naturally secured. Then I repeated these steps again and again. Then fir trees were totally assembled. I used instant glue to fix the branches and shape them.
Perché sei tu Romeo?
After painting, I noticed that the trunk was still a little bit too thin, so I had to thicken them with AB putty. Randomly apply some white glue to the ground and evenly sprinkle 3 mm grass powder by using static grass applicator. I used AK paper plants and action sheets to create some snake plants and moss for details. Remember to paint the edges of snake plants in yellow. Some woodland moss can also be attached as low vegetation, but my bag of moss had decayed after over a decade of storage. I also added some green stuff bushes. First thing first, I used Mr. Mahogany Surfacer to unify the base color. I used Tamiya XF67 Nail Green for the shadows. For the first highlights, I airbrushed Exit 5 pure green from the top. Then, using yellow-green for the second highlights at the top. When finished, I noticed that the overall tone was a little bit too yellow, so I blended in fluorescent green at highlights.
Romeo, Romeo, perché sei tu Romeo?
Next, I painted the ground with earth tones. The whole process was quite relaxing, as it makes sense with dirt colors on plants. The uplift of the ground will brighten with buff. Since the cement ground has a cool tone, I adjusted the base color with black. Then using a gray primer as the main color. After that, I applied several washes of various earth tones to the ground. I applied some AK enamel earth effects for adding depth to dark areas.
Romeo, Romeo, perché sei tu Romeo? Before the ground was completely dry, I randomly sprinkled some AK pigments on the top. The fir trees were also primed with Gunzy Mr. Mahogany. Since the branches were quite dispersed, it took a while to paint them more. Similarly to the ground vegetation, I used the native green for the shadows on the branches. Painting green from the direction of the light, and then narrow it down to apply yellow-green on the brightest spots. The trunk was painted in wood color by using a simply dry brush in the vertical direction. The riverbed mud is usually silt, so I use the darker colors to wash it. And brighten the gravel in the river with various natural colors. I dug up some roots from my garden to simulate exposed tree roots along the riverbank. I used masking tape to outline the edges of the stream. Actually, I'm not satisfied with the result by using masking tape for this job. If you have any better tips, welcome to share in the comments. At the bottom of the river, I applied a thin layer of woodland scenery water. While this material may lose clarity if applied too thick, I added a layer of woodland water to prevent the crystal resin from melting the foam board. When mixing the crystal resin, I added some transparent green to enhance the color depths. Once dry, due to the lack of smoothness in the surrounding material, the surface needs to be polished.
After it was completely dry, I applied the waves with an old brush and used the air blower, which I usually use to clean my lenses, to simulate the effect of the wind on the water surface. After placing a purple EC6 in the scene, I noticed the lack of color contrast. So I decided to replace the car with my favorite yellow Volkswagen Beetle. The 135 scale kit only has the oldest version, and I particularly love the classic spherical wheel hub of the Beetle.
I spent some time learning Blender.
And then I had these 3D printed wheels. According to the reference pictures, I noticed that it has black rubber rings in the joint areas, which does not exist in the model kit. Thus, I used a very classical technique to create this idea like this. For the yellow paint of the car body, I used Mr. Color's base white as the base and then pure yellow on the top. To achieve a glossy finish, I used the high airflow and paint module. Finally, I painted a figure of myself holding two Nikon film cameras. I will continue to update my model works on this channel. Welcome to subscribe and thank you for your support. And see you in the next episode.